This is episode 2. Welcome to The Whole of You. I am your host, Tanya, Haan, kinesiologist and Bowen therapist and author of Balance into Your Life. I am here to inspire you to love life and to live out your dreams and your desires, aligned with grace and gratitude. Welcome. Today I have my gorgeous, amazing husband, Lukas, who's going to talk to us about kite surfing. On a windy day here in Melbourne, you may notice while walking or driving or riding along Beach Road, there are many colourful kites out there on the bay, Port Phillip Bay. Now, while I'm at home thinking it's a great day to hang out the washing to get it dry, my husband is itching to get out on the bay to kite surf. Lukas, what first attracted you to kite surfing?
Well, I guess the same thing that you mentioned is that I saw kite surfing and I watched it and I thought, that's amazing, I want to try that. And I guess I thought to myself at the time that this is one thing I want to try and do and actually get it right. And a bit like when I windsurfed, I never managed to learn to windsurf when I was young, but I thought this one I'm going to give it a red hot go and learn it because it looks so much fun.
So was it difficult to learn?
Definitely, it's not something you can learn in one day. It's not something you can't learn maybe in 2 or 3 days. But if you get lessons, I would highly recommend you get lessons. Don't ask a friend to teach you. Then you could probably, within a few hours of lessons, you could probably be up on the board and going.
Wow, really? Just a few hours? So is there like a technique that you have to learn to get up on the board? And
Well, there's 2 things you need to learn. The first thing you need to learn is to fly the kite. So you need to understand how the kite generates power. So you need to learn how to release the power from the kite and how to power it up and move it around the wind window to get the power you need to actually get up on a board. So you'll probably do that standing on the sand, and they'll probably give you a trainer kite just to start off with, just to get a feel for a kite, and then they'll probably put you on a real kite, but probably a smaller one than normal, and let you feel how the kite generates its power as you move it through the wind window.
That's amazing. So who originally helped you kite surf? Did you go for lessons yourself?
Well, I did get a few lessons, and this guy who was giving me lessons was very hard to track down, and every time I tried to call him, he never answered his phone, etc., etc. He's actually not, he doesn't have a license to do his kite surfing anymore, so that's probably, but the lessons, I think I got a few lessons from him, basically just flying the kite. Second was actually just body dragging through the water. So you taught to just drag yourself in the water with the kite. So you get to feel the power of the kite. And then after that, I think I stopped for a while. I think I gave up. I spent a lot of time just flying the kite in light winds, but never being able to get up on a board. And then my lovely wife bought me a voucher for a lesson, or a couple of lessons, I don't remember now, but I think I got those lessons from another kite school, and they were a great school, and they got me up on the board. Once I was up on the board, it was pretty much everything else I just pretty much just taught myself.
So, wow, that's amazing. So if you were like scared, like how would you say that kite surfing could help you combat your fear?
Well, the fear that comes from kite surfing is probably the danger that's involved, not knowing the conditions and not understanding the power of the kite, or getting yourself into trouble, and it's quite easy to get yourself into trouble. I guess when the wind is really strong,
and
that's
so you've
when
managed
the
to
level
get your kite somewhere up a tree once, haven't you?
Once, yes, I was out and it was quite gusty and strong, and I'd actually not set up my safety correctly, and when I tried to release my kite, it wouldn't release, and then it went into a spin and then went over the Ricketts
Oops.
sailboat club across the road. And I thought at the time that was really bad. And I thought to get the kite down would cost a lot of money, and the power companies often will sue you for tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh,
But
no.
as I was driving around, a windsurfer guy who was just happened to be walking on the beach said, "I'll help you get it down." He grabbed his ladder and we got the kite down. I got the lines down. The kite was actually okay, probably a small tear, but the lines were a little bit worn, and they broke the next day.
Oh, dear.
But I was so keen to keep going and getting out there that nothing could probably stop me.
So I have to say that your determination and inspiration and actually passion for kite surfing is pretty much unstoppable. So how do you feel how it's helped you in your life? So there are times when you do suffer from a little bit of depression, and there are times where you sort of are way out of balance. And when life gets a little bit icky and you're caught up in the web and you want to work through your relationships and things like that. So how does kite surfing get you back into balance and back into the flow of life? Like, how does it help you with your level of stress?
Well, I guess kite surfing, it's probably a little bit of a selfish sport, but it gives you a feeling of freedom. I think people who either surf or like water sports or like sailing a boat or something like that, they have this innate sense of wanting to be independent and free. And when you're just out there with the wind and the waves, you feel absolutely just feel great, and you're just enjoying yourself 100% of the time. And it's just hard to explain, but it's fun. The fun is really amazing. And
So does it give you the space to actually be able to bring yourself back into balance and regroup yourself and, sort of feel like you're connected back to the earth and the planet and whatever? But does it give you that space for you to actually...
It definitely gives me the space. I mean, you're not going far away or anything, and I'm just going to a local beach, but half an hour to an hour of kiting, I actually feel great, and I feel like I've had, some real time out. And there's probably other ways people get that sort of time out, but for me, that's really the essential feeling. You're sort of out there with nature, with the wind. You sort of
Beautiful.
You don't have any noises from motors. You don't have
So it brings
you feel a lot closer to nature.
Yeah.
A bit like when you do surfing or something like that. You feel.
So do you find it calming? Like, does it bring back your cortisol level and bring you back down, like really calm the nervous system a little bit? Or has it got that adrenal rush as well? Or do you find it more calming?
It's got a bit of adrenal rush, there's no doubt about it. And the adrenal rush definitely goes up when the wind's stronger, or the waves are bigger. But I think after a session, you definitely feel like you've let it all out of your system, all the adrenals, all the energy, you pushed it all out, and that's kind of where you feel like you feel great.
Now, Luke, you have a pretty amazing long list. I mean, should I say Excel list of pretty fantastic achievements that you've made throughout your life. I mean, one, that you're got a fantastic family of beautiful children, 3 beautiful children, and of course a gorgeous wife that stands by you.
That's right.
You're very fit and you're amazingly healthy. And like many men these days who are actually chucking in the alcohol, and sort of taking up more of a life of health and wellness, how would you feel that giving up alcohol has helped you stay fit and be able to take up this sport like kite surfing? Do you think you would have been able to do kite surfing to the extent that you do it if you were drinking every night?
Absolutely not. I think I don't think I could go out kiting if I was hungover, or you definitely lose your motivation to do these sort of things. You just feel lazy and you just want to sleep it off. Or so alcohol definitely is something that doesn't help any of my sporting pursuits. I've learnt that the hard way. I've learnt that definitely trying to go out after a few drinks or whatever just doesn't help. I feel much better not having.
And do you think you would have had maintained that level of fitness if you did go out drinking, or drank a lot of alcohol? Or do you think you would have sort of gone, oh, I'm too tired today, I might just curl back into bed and have another snooze?
Well, I guess people drink alcohol for a reason, and it's often to get themselves
out of that icky
psyched up for a party, and have let themselves loose and that sort of thing. And
that's what kitesurfing does for you.
But that's what kitesurfing does for me, and you kind of don't need alcohol to make yourself feel that way. So yeah, but definitely I think I wouldn't enjoy kitesurfing if I was drinking, and I don't think I'd enjoy it as much if I was not as fit. So fitness, it's a bit like cycling. I mean, the more you cycle, the more fitter you get, and the faster you go, and the more you push yourself, and it just becomes it becomes a bit of an addiction, and your fitness becomes an addiction as well. But it's a good kind of addiction because
a passion.
It's a passion, and you've had a workout, you feel great, and you can usually sleep well afterwards, and you might be tired the next day, but a bit grumpy. But it's probably better to be grumpy from kitesurfing than having too much.
Okay,
alcohol.
So with the kitesurfing, do you have some moment that is been your pivotal point, like some massive achievement that you've done? Like, I know that you've done some pretty amazing stuff, and everyone tells me how fantastically fit you look and how healthy you are for your age, particularly.
I wish I was fitter, to be honest, but anyway.
But you're doing a pretty good job for your level of fitness and your age. I mean, most people are winding down as they're approaching your 50s, but you're actually going out there, going across the bay. You did that amazing kite surfing across the bay for charity.
From Rosebud to Port Melbourne.
I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So what was the challenges? You had charter boats and things like that. What were they for sharks?
Oh, look.
Oh, no.
Well, there's a couple of issues. I mean, usually in summer, the sea breeze only increases in the afternoon, but some of the issues that may occur is that if the wind drops out, then people's kites will land in the water and they'll be just floating around in the bay, and that has happened once. People do get themselves into trouble, and obviously when you're running an event like that, you need to have proper safety procedures in place and things like that. And and having those boats there going from Rosebud to Port Melbourne was comforting, but at the same time, if you do fall in the water or lose your kite or something like that, or something goes wrong, I think losing your board is probably the scariest thing, because once you've lost your board, you can't really do much.
Oh, you can't really get a refund, can you? For a lost board. So if someone was from overseas or from out of Melbourne or overseas and coming to Melbourne, where would you, unless it's a secret, would you suggest a good places to kite surf around Melbourne or the Bay? Or
look, the best place for most people to learn is St Kilda, and it's got a large beach, so you can launch your kite easily. There's a lot of people there, so there's people there that can help you. The kite surfing community generally is pretty friendly, and they're prepared to help each other. Look, there's the odd people that don't, and they do the wrong thing, but there's St Kilda's probably the easiest. There's about 3 kite schools down there, but I tend to avoid St Kilda because of the crowds and the parking hassles and all that sort of stuff, so I just tend to go locally.
So can I ask you, how does Grace come into kite surfing?
Grace? Well, I don't know if it's the most graceful sport, but you can do some graceful moves, I suppose. I've seen older guys do some pretty graceful moves.
And so what are you grateful for today? Besides my kombucha, what one thing that you are grateful for today?
Besides your kombucha, look, I'm grateful for my family.
Beautiful. And one more question. Lucas, if you were to have a book beside your bed that you would pick up and read at any time, what book do you think that could be?
It would be the top 5 regrets of the dying. So some of the wisdoms how we can live out our lives in a better way before we die.
Wonderful.
So we have no regrets.
So thank you very much for chatting to us and sharing a little bit of your vulnerability, and also telling us all about kite surfing. And we really appreciate your time. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
You're welcome.